Hi, today I'm with Tom Fox and as part of our Business Spotlight program. And Tom is the co-founder of 536, and they're a sports marketing agency. But over to you, Tom. Maybe tell us, what do you do and for how long you've been doing it?
Cheers, Kevin. Great to be here. So as you said, I'm co-founder of 536, which is a full-service sports marketing agency. It is about 6 years old now. We've been trading for just over 6 years. It was founded by myself and my business partner, McDonnell. So prior to this role, I was in Twitter. I spent about 4.5 years there. My first role there was sales, focusing on the UK and Irish markets, primarily around sports and the mobile verticals. I moved into a role where I kind of managed our reseller business across EMEA. And then simultaneously, a great friend of mine from school, McDonnell, was working in the kind of sports industry in London. So he worked for the NBA for a good number of years, and he worked for a media rights company called Pitch International. And then he approached me one day, I think it would have been late 2016, and said he had a concept around producing really high quality video around sports. And then we started talking, and then we kind of landed on setting this company together. And the original kind of premise for the company was to create high quality video around sports, which we thought was a gap, but then having the means to convert fans into customers, to monetize video, to commercialize it, and to close the loop with kind of sophisticated marketing and ad campaigns. So that was the genesis of the company, and broadly we've stayed true to that, I would say, over 6 years, although we've developed quite a bit since then, both in terms of revenue and staff, but also our offering as well.
Fantastic, Tom. And what makes you stand out from your competition?
I suppose there's probably a couple of things. We're a service business, so we do have quite a lot of competition. There's a lot of agencies out there. There's production companies, there's media companies, there's creative agencies, and increasingly they're trying to get slices of other people's kind of field. I think what probably makes us stand out is that we have all disciplines in-house pretty much. So we kind of position ourselves as the connections agency for sport. So whether that be creative solutions, production, media, digital marketing, we have all that in-house. So we can really bring a kind of a nose to tail solution. And the answer isn't always video, or it's not always a digital marketing campaign. We can offer, I guess, solutions based on the client's business problem. Sometimes it could be a broadcast documentary. We've got all production in-house. Sometimes it's a very performance-focused digital marketing campaign. Sometimes a rebrand or design fresh. So whatever way anybody in the business of sport or a customer of ours is looking to create a meaningful connection with the fan, we enable that. So we can bring full kind of spectrum. Here's the idea, here's the strategy, here's how it comes to life, here's the content, and here's the campaign. Or you can pick any one or a number of those things equally as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's absolutely. I know I follow Munster for my sins, and the connection with the fans is huge. Absolutely massive.
Well, Munster are a retained client of ours, so
right, fantastic.
Yeah, so hopefully you've seen some of our campaigns. I think we've got a new season ticket campaign coming up with them soon. But we work with rights owners like Munster, the FAI, IRFU, but then we also work, as I kind of mentioned, anybody in the business of sports. So it could be a sponsor who's a new property and they're looking to, create connections with an audience, or they're looking for an activation. So anybody in that sphere, and it's, not just the Irish market. We've kind of had a bit of success in the UK market as well, which is about 55 to 60% of our business on any given year.
Oh, fantastic, brilliant. And what is, I'm sure you've had loads of them, but what's your biggest learning since you've been a business owner?
I mean, there's probably a couple. Well, there's probably a couple a day, to be honest.
Yes.
I suppose one that would jump out is that we are a service business.
Okay.
So we're very reliant on our people. We don't have IP. We don't have technology per se, although we have MarTech solutions. But really, you're selling people. You want to do great work, and to do great work for our partners, our clients, it's the people you have.
All right.
So I think bringing great people to the company is really, really important to us. Retaining good people is really, really important to us as well. and effectively, really focusing on that and getting in people who are motivated, hungry, smart, really keen to deliver great work and want to work with the kind of customers that we have as well is really important. And another thing would be probably having the discipline to be able to step away from the day-to-day a little bit.
Yes, indeed.
Which is absolutely not in my nature at all.
Okay.
I find it quite challenging, especially when myself and Marcus set it up. I think we would be similar in that way, in that you want to ensure everything that leaves the building is of a certain standard, which I think it is now. We've got a brilliant team in place, but I guess my personality is kind of trying to be over a lot probably. So that's been a challenge, but if we want to scale, if we want to grow, we realize that we have to focus a lot more on new business and strategy. So that's been a kind of a big learning. And then I suppose the third thing would be from the outset having a pretty deep understanding of margin, profitability, the type of work. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think, in the early stages, as you're trying to grow a business, you're probably, revenue is quite intoxicating because you can see growth and your revenue in, and, but as we started to examine the margins and the more we understood that, that was really the kind of the engine of our business, not the revenue numbers. So we have kind of we've gone from 0 to 100. We've got big software we use now for all timesheets and labor costs and profitability, but that was something we needed to get a handle on very early, and something that's a really core part of our day-to-day operations now.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. Knowing your numbers and the whole ability to delegate, and which is quite different from abdicating. Which is
Exactly.
I have a lot of chat with our clients about that one. How do you see your business developing over the next 5 years?
So the big one's international growth. We've got about 18 people now in Dublin. And since COVID, it's made working remotely with our clients a lot easier.
Good.
But we, as I said, a large chunk of our business is UK focused, and there's just a higher ceiling there, obviously, for growth. And our ambition is to grow. So I think kind of building on the clients we have there, the business we have there, I think proper boots on the ground in London is hopefully on the roadmap for this year. And then, beyond that as well, probably other European markets, I would say. Obviously, Southern Europe and the States and Asia are very interesting markets, but I think we need to obviously just solidify kind of UK and Irish businesses and make sure they're humming and operating the way we want them to before we start going too far down the path of the US. But I think international growth would be the kind of primary one, I would say.
International growth. Okay, fantastic. And what is the latest news about your business?
Well, there's a few things, I suppose. We hired a business director, so a chap called Gavin Coffey. So he's a wealth of experience across agency, sports, sponsorship. He worked in Teneo previously. He would have, been one of the people who was heavily involved in the Vodafone sponsorship of the Irish rugby team. So he's joined us in the business director. So that's a next step in our operations, I suppose. He's going to run the digital media and marketing side of our business. We've just appointed a new head of production, Conor Doherty, who's been with us almost since the start. So we have kind of business leaders to run the two kind of core sides of our business, and then that'll enable myself and Marcus to focus a lot more on the sales strategy, new business, company strategy, all that type of thing. We have a couple of very interesting broadcast documentaries in train at the moment. So previously we've produced a documentary on Rachel Blackmore after her incredible year where she won the Grand National and had an incredible Cheltenham. We've done one on concussion rugby as well, and we kind of have a few in progress at the moment, a couple of documentaries which I can't say too much about, but one of them or two of them are boxing. One of them's quite prominent in boxing, and the other one's totally left field. But
okay,
documentaries, yeah, I mean, so often you produce for our clients, just given the nature of digital media now, we produce shorter form video because it works best on the digital media platforms. So having the opportunity to really go deep in a subject matter, get under the skin, get inside the ropes, and produce documentaries is really, really exciting. So we've got a couple in the mix there, which is brilliant, and we're hoping to kind of have them progress over the next 6 months to a year. We've also just signed a new contract with the FAI, which is brilliant. It's a great time of change in Irish football, on the pitch and off the pitch. So we're absolutely thrilled to be a part of that. And then we started doing some work in the US. So we're doing some filming around Sawgrass for one of our partners out there recently as well. So much going on.
Fantastic. There's endless news. They're all very intriguing. Look forward to seeing it. What would you say are the biggest issues you have overcome, the biggest challenges you would have had? What have you overcome, do you think?
I mean, I'm sure you get this answer a lot, but to be honest, for us with COVID, not only, the obvious economic conditions, but sport shut down totally for a number of months. A big part of our business has been event orientated. I don't mean that in the sense of setting up events or organizing them, but I mean in terms of driving like ticket sales and marketing events. They all obviously shut down for a good period of time, because when sport did come back, it was behind closed doors. Production work obviously became very, very scarce as well.
Right.
So it was a big challenge, and outside of that as well. When we did kind of get back up running, and I think we're relatively proud of how we kind of kept the ship steering and kept everything kind of on course and all that kind of thing. But it's a momentum killer as well. When you come back, you're kind of almost starting from scratch in many ways, and you need to kind of rebuild relationships, bring in new clients, get back to kind of what you do best. I think pre-COVID, we were just, incredibly busy all the time, couldn't handle all the work. And then post-COVID, you're just trying to regather that momentum, and they all feed into each other.
Right.
So yeah, that's been the biggest challenge. But thankfully, we're now at a stage where the business is, a lot bigger than it even was pre-COVID. So hopefully we're on the right track now.
Fantastic. And what is most inspiring to you today? What inspires you most? I'm sure there's a lot of things, but
yeah, there's a lot of things. I mean, in terms of the business, it's probably just doing impactful work. Beyond obviously work that you just like, that's looks cool or has an end product. It's stuff that has an impact. We recently did a campaign for the FAI to get volunteers into grassroots club football. And we interviewed volunteers all across the country. We kind of uncovered, what volunteering meant to them, about how fulfilling it was, and you don't have to give all your time. And it's quite powerful, actually, the impact volunteers can have in people's lives. And then that insight turned into a platform called Give a Little, Get a Lot. That platform turned into a nationwide TV campaign, big digital media campaign, a website on a page on the FAI website where people sign up to be volunteers, and then you can see volunteers coming in through the clubs and people signing up, and very fulfilling to have, start from just an idea and talking to people, and then actually seeing people going into grassroots football and having an impact in people's lives. So that's quite inspiring. And then being able to tell great impactful stories. I think, having the opportunity to tell Rachel Blackmore's story is very cool. I'm a horse racing fan myself as well, and she's an amazing person. And then equally, we did a documentary on concussion and rugby for broadcast, and such a topic, yourself as a rugby fan, that's just, excuse the pun, very front of mind. And to be able to tell people's story, which might in turn, shape how people think about brain injury, concussion, that kind of thing, also quite fulfilling, I would say.
Yeah. No, I played a bit in my day, and I have a grandson now who's playing almost in the same position. I was in the front row.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, very good, front rower.
Yeah. So he played either loose head prop or hooker, which I did both. Well, I did.
Very good.
He was loose head, yeah, or he's loose head. But now they're putting him on wing forward, which I'm happier with.
Oh, good. Yeah. Less collateral damage there.
Yeah. Hopefully, we keep our fingers crossed. But yeah, it's a real topic. Um, well, what do you see as the biggest challenges facing your business now?
Um, so the economic conditions are certainly one. This year, I think last year there was a lot of talk about it. This year we're seeing it in practice a bit more. I think from chatting to other companies in our space, in our sphere, the commercial landscape probably isn't as vibrant as it was a year ago. So, fingers crossed that evens out over the kind of coming year or two. Who knows what's ahead of us? But certainly economic conditions, as you well know, marketing investments, is something that can often be hit first. Increasingly, clients, are looking to take some skill set in-house. Technology, automation, AI are all, playing a part. Like a huge part of our business is around having real deep expertise around media and digital campaigns. We've hired people from, Facebook and other agencies and who really know the way around it. And I think, that strategic expertise will always be massively important. But as technology becomes more and more accessible, we see that as something just to keep an eye on for sure. I think probably staff retention is interlinked with economic conditions. We have absolutely brilliant people who are enticed by the shores of Sydney and Australia, and they're dead right in many ways. How often you get opportunity to go over there and work in an incredible country like that, but it does make it challenging, the cost of living in Dublin, how challenging it is maybe economically and that kind of thing. So staff retention, and people leave for various different reasons, but it is something that it's a bit of a challenge for us because, as I said at the outset, people buy people, and like to work with people as well. And then probably finally is just big ambition to scale and grow. We've never taken on any capital investment, so it's just myself and Marcus, bootstrap at the start and then organic growth since that point. So having the I guess the access to capital to match our ambition isn't always easy, because even if the company's doing really well, cash flow, people might pay at different times, the equilibrium of all that stuff is just a bit of a challenge as well. But they're fun problems to have, I guess.
Yeah, well, certainly all across the client base, they would say similar things at different levels. But definitely getting very clear on what it is you're selling and what your clients are buying makes a huge difference in that. At the start, to understand what it is you're selling to and you're selling different things to different parts of the market. But yeah, that's something that obviously we can dig into and we'll be doing going forward. And what do you see as the biggest opportunities? I think you've touched on them already, but what do you see as the biggest opportunities for your industry over the next 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, it's a time of change in sport. The very traditional industry in many ways, where rights owners had media rights and broadcast deals and sponsorship partnerships. I suppose what we're seeing now is that it's becoming a lot more direct consumer. Everybody's looking for direct relationships with fans. So wherever clients, Munster included, who you're a fan of, have their own streaming platform now, content platform called Access Munster. We can get behind the scenes content. There's people investing big money into sports documentaries as a means to connect with fans and build growth of their team. Equally, the media landscape is changing. It's becoming more fragmented. The kind of duopoly of Google and Facebook is gone. There's other platforms emerging. There's other marketplaces emerging, and I feel our position as the connections agency for sport, being able to kind of cover those different elements across creative, production, media, digital marketing, web, in the sports sphere offers great opportunity, whereas maybe traditional companies mightn't have the same kind of head start that we have. The fact that we're used to producing content, the fact that we know how to connect with fans in multiple ways, probably does offer some opportunity, but you have to go and grasp it all the same. So,
right, fantastic. Listen, Tom, it's been great talking to you today. Very inspiring, and I'm sure our viewers will pick up a lot from that.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot for your time, Kevin.